Good morning, Torrington. I'm Eric Starkey. Today is May 25th, and you're watching Torrington Today. Well, in yesterday's paper, you can read about 13 Reasons Why, the new hit show on Netflix, and how it's viewed by some around the county. You can also see an update on the construction south of the sugar factory on the highway there, and just see how it's coming along. It should be wrapping up here shortly, so that's something to continue to have marked on your calendars to try and avoid that area, or if you had to take the detour, plan a couple extra minutes in your trip. In the sports section yesterday, it was a big weekend in Goshen County sports this past weekend. Logan Harris broke the all-class state record in the shot put with a throw of 63 feet, 8.5 inches. That broke the old record set in 1990 by 7.5 inches, and John Godina set the old record, and he went on to compete in 3 different Olympics in both shot put and discus. So I think beating John Godina in shot put is a pretty good feat. I would say that for sure. Not to be overshadowed, I should say, at the state track meet, Lingo Fort Laramie boys won the 1A boys title. Their field events alone, they racked up enough points to beat the second place team, and they ended up with field event points on the track, so it was a pretty big weekend for Lingo Fort Laramie track, and you can read about all the different track teams and how they did in Casper this past weekend. And if you didn't head to Casper, or you want to see how the boys soccer team did, you can pick up yesterday's paper. It was the first time that they had been to the state championship game, and they came out on the losing end to Cody, 1-0, but it was a close game, and I think going to your first state championship game of your program's history, that's nothing to sneeze at. So you can read about all those stories in the sports section from yesterday's paper. In tomorrow's paper, we'll start with sports, because that's what I know best. At least I'd like to think I know best. Tomorrow in the sports section, you can read about 4 different Blazer soccer players that were named All-State, including Nathan Stitt, who was named the 3A Underclassman of the Year. So definitely some high praise for Nathan, and kind of puts all the rest of the teams in the state on watch for next season, because as the title of the honor implies, he will be back next year. So other schools might be guarding him even more tightly than they did this year. You can also read about the path to the state tournament for the Blazer boys, and kind of what the keys to success were this season. They had the best record in the state regardless of class, so it was a pretty successful season in all regards. You can also take a look at another installment of the EWC recruiting stories, and this one is on golf with Coach Zach Smith, and you can kind of see what he looks for in his recruits and how his recruiting process works. Moving to the main section, a former group of second graders from here in Goshen County came back as they were all seniors to open their time capsule that they buried in second grade, and you can see photos from what they thought was good to bury in the ground 10 years ago, and also see a story about that. There's also a photo and story about the ribbon cutting for the Grassroots Trail that just opened here in town. And you can also see I shouldn't call them stories. Local seniors from all 3 high schools were asked either their favorite memory, an inspirational quote, and you can see kind of what the local seniors have going through their minds as graduation comes up this weekend. Speaking of graduation, that's kind of the big event this weekend for obvious reasons. All 3 schools have their graduations on Sunday. Torrington is at 1 p.m. and Lingo Fort Laramie is at 3, and Southeast has the nightcap, if you want to call it the nightcap, at 5 p.m. So if you know anyone graduating, definitely get those on your calendar. It's going to be a pretty busy weekend for Goshen County seniors. High school graduation only comes once in your life, so if you're a senior out there, definitely enjoy it. For weather, for the next couple days, we're looking at not too good of conditions. Sunday, we're looking at pretty decent conditions for graduation. It's going to be in the 60s on Sunday and partly cloudy. But to get there, we're looking at rain for the next 3 days. So it might be some pretty wet grass during graduation, but from the today and the next 2 days of rain. Today's high is 65, tomorrow is 59, and then on Saturday it's 62. And as I mentioned, all 3 of those days we're expecting some rain. So if you need to mow your lawn, hopefully you did it yesterday, or you can try and sneak it in between the showers if the ground isn't too wet. Well, there you have it, Torrington. Enjoy graduation this weekend, and it's on to summer. I'm Eric Starkey, and you've been watching Torrington Today.